Okay, welcome everyone to another episode of Business Talk, a podcast presented by Business West and sponsored by Greenfield Cooperative Bank. I'm George O'Brien filling in for Joe Bednar. We've got a terrific show for you today. We have with us Bastien. He is the founder and CEO of Empower Pickleball. This is a news and media company devoted to the sport of pickleball, which continues to grow. This sport is exploding. Well, first of all, welcome, Ken.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Oh, we appreciate you coming on the show. We're going to talk pickleball today, and there is a lot to talk about.
There's a lot to cover, yes.
We want to talk about the sport, and then we want to talk about Empower Pickleball a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Then we want to talk about, where the game is, where it can go, where it's likely to go.
Mm-hmm.
We want to talk about the business of pickleball. There are sports, and there's the business of those sports. And It didn't take long for pickleball to become a business as well. So
Yep.
Not a business, all kinds of business. So we'll get into that as well. We have a lot to talk about again. Let's start with pickleball itself. And I will start by saying that I'm not even a novice. I have yet to pick up a paddle. I've been told it is a paddle.
Mm-hmm.
I get that part right. I will someday. I can barely find enough time to play ball, but I will get into the sport. So this is going to be fun for me. I'm going to learn a lot. I love to learn. Start by telling me a brief history of this game. I know time flies. You're going to tell me pickleball's been around for 15, 20 years. It seems like it's been around for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it just went boom.
It did go boom. So the game itself was invented in the late 60s in off the coast of Oregon or Washington. Bainbridge Island. Let's back up. The game itself was invented in the late 60s on Bainbridge Island. There was a family there. They were on vacation. They had a racquetball court. They had a net. They lowered the net. They found some ping pong paddles and a ball, and they started playing. So they invented the game. Speed that up, fast forward to the COVID era is a lot of these D1 players, tennis, people need something to do outside. So the retirement communities already had courts built. So when people started going to other areas in order to have activity where they couldn't play their sport, that's when it started really booming with the pro tours. And then there was another pro tour that was created. And that's when I entered pickleball, not for that tour, but it's right around the same time. And that's when you heard all the investors come in, the big names, Tom Brady, LeBron James, actors, actresses, and more. And that really got the sport in the news, and on the business side helped it explode.
It's still mostly recreational.
100%.
100%. Okay, so talk about pickleball. And again, most people know the basics, so let's go quickly. This is a sport that a lot of people associate with older individuals, but I understand that it crosses the gamut now.
It definitely crosses the gamut. The number one player in the world is female. Her name's Annalie Waters. She's 19. She's been a pro for a long time. So it does drop down.
So I'll know. How is a player ranked?
They usually have a duper score, so that's how they're ranked. And you're kind of like a 3.0 player, a 3.5. Most of the majority is a recreational group. That's where all the people, for the most part, are. And they're going to the local courts or playing in their backyard, local YMCA. I mean, they're tailgating. They're bringing food, sandwiches. The saying in pickleball is like, just one more game, just one more game. So when people play recreational, because it's so community-based, they make friendships. It's helped them stay sober. It's helped them beat cancer. It's so on that it gets to the point where you're there 3 hours. Whereas if I join like my local softball league, I won't be there 3 hours. And they do that 3-5 times a week. So that's the majority of the pickleball players, which is like 95%. Then you have this like 2 to 5% in the world that are the pro scene. Why is it exploding? Because it's easy to get into. It's easy to get into. It's easy to learn in one day. It's okay that it's different than tennis and golf. That's okay. And what I personally like about it is you can be on the court with, your partner. It's usually played 2-on-2 is most common. You can play 1-on-1, but usually it's 2-on-2. And you can play with really anybody. You can play with somebody in a wheelchair. You can play with somebody that, might be missing a limb. and they'll beat you. So to answer your question about the age, yes, it used to be an older sport, but the ages drop down fast. The sport is in reverse. So it's not like kids wake up today and they're like, I want to be a pro player and get a college scholarship. But there are college scholarships right now.
Okay.
And there's a lot of moving parts and pieces behind the game that is dropping it down to high school. And then it's going to go even further. In different countries, other than the United States, they're 100% focusing on the youth.
Well, I was just going to ask, is this a now global phenomenon where
Yes.
it's being played?
Yep, it's definitely a global phenomenon. In a few weeks, there's going to be a big announcement that is going to change things internationally. And I think all of this is helpful because the United States, it is still the fastest growing sport, but there's a lot to it to get it into the Olympics. So the paperwork's been filed for the Olympics, but you still have to get behind the countries with good coaching, accreditation, certification, and governing bodies. I mean, their pickleball governing bodies need to be set up.
So like anything that catches on and becomes popular, it goes from being a recreational activity to being a sport to also being a business.
Yep.
Talk about the business side of pickleball. There are lots of different sides. We've got leagues now. We've got pickleball facilities. We've got malls that can't fill themselves with stores anymore, so they're filling them with pickleball.
Yep.
Pickleball players going out everywhere. Talk about the various business aspects of this.
I think the business aspect is because it's inclusive, right? So I equate it to the same as like American soccer or football. For very little, you can get into the game. So because of that, it brings in a lot of people, and with people brings in business and opportunity. So not only is it about the actual locations, but you also have AI. You also have all these apps in order to find players. There's even a pickleball dating app now. So
Pickleball, what's it called?
I know, I forgot.
Okay. Or it has something to do with Dink.
Yeah, I'm happily married, so I'm not on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the business side of things, the hard part on the business side of things, and this kind of leads into why I created Empower, is if it was a normal sport, meaning there's already a location, right? There's a stadium. I created a basketball. I want to sell more basketballs for XYZ brand. Then maybe I have an event. I sponsor Section 304, call it a day. But in pickleball, it's hard to reach those recreational players. It's hard to get your product into the recreational players. And that's how sales happen in pickleball, because Sally at the court is super excited about XYZ product. You need to reach her because people are going to buy what she has. And that goes for any product because it makes you feel like you're a kid again. So it's almost like you're back at the playground. You're like, I got a new paddle, and you're excited about it. And you want to share it with everybody. That's kind of what happens in general on the business side. But there's a lot happening on the business side of pickleball. It gets very confusing.
Talk about that a little bit more. I mean, it's like anything else. It's almost like a cannabis industry. There's success, there's money to be made, and then soon everybody wants a piece of it.
Right.
And is there room for all these people who want a piece now? Are these early businesses successful? Are these pickleball facilities doing well? Are they?
So some facilities during the boom were created and then they closed. I think some of the problem is not because the sport is dying, because it is increasing audience size, and we can see that at Empower. But the problem is the programming. You have people who might have been really excited, had a lot of money, played pickleball, and then they open a building and they think, well, if I build it, they'll come. But that's not always the case, because I think we see that across the United States. Like, you have to get really good at building your own community inside your brick and mortar. Because again, the sport is about inclusivity. So going down to the local park and playing for free and meeting friends that I wouldn't have ever had or met, versus now I'm buying a membership and now I'm going into a building. It has to have a strong why to do that.
Okay. Very interesting. Now you get to tell us about your people. Let's get the quick version of that story. How did this company come about, and
Yeah. So I used to sell insurance in the Pioneer Valley. And then
Sorry about that.
yeah. Then COVID happened. So I didn't sell insurance anymore, and I was trying to figure out what to do. I didn't want to wear a black suit anymore. So I literally got an email the next day, and I was recruited into at the time, one of the larger media companies in pickleball as head of partnerships. So I grew that company with the crew, but it only focused on that small sliver that we were talking about earlier, all the pros. No one even knows there's pros, right? And I was seeing a couple things on that side that were gaps, and meeting these incredible people that were growing pickleball in their areas, and they weren't getting any credit for it. They wouldn't do any stories on them. Nobody would. It was also leaning 75% male in the other media companies in pickleball. So I'm like, one of the fastest growing demographics is women. So I'm like, you know what? I'm done. So I started Empower Pickleball. Did consulting for like 9 months, and then I started Empower Pickleball. And we focus on somebody nervous to even start, all the way up to the pro scene. And we lean more into our community spotlights, where we talk about the people that are growing the game worldwide. We've written stories about Ukraine. We've written stories about really remote locations, all the way to local people that are growing the sport. We just had an interview with Mary Steenburgen, one-on-one, which is super exciting. She has a new movie coming out called The Dink.
I was on Martha's Vineyard, and there's an amazing coach there. She inspired me to want to learn it. So this is only about 2 months in, and I was deeply in love with it. And then the phone rings, and this amazing offer comes. I was actually supposed to go do another film, and they called and they said, we do have one more offer. It's shoots in LA, which was music to my ears. It's a film starring Jake Johnson, produced by Ben Stiller, and you would be the lead opposite Jake Johnson, also music to my ears. Josh Greenbaum's going to direct it, amazing director, and it's about pickleball. And I went, fine, we're doing that one. And they go, well, shouldn't you read it? And I go, I'll read it, but I'm doing that one.
No, it's a great comedy. It's directed by Ben Stiller. Okay. So, I mean, it's produced by Ben Stiller, and it's worth the laugh. But it does have different layers into that movie, and I think they did a great job with that, because that's how it is to play pickleball as well.
You're listening to Business Talk, a podcast presented by Business West and sponsored by Greenfield Cooperative Bank. We're talking with Kim Bastien, who's the founder of Empower Pickleball. Tell us some of these community stories, because I think they tell a lot about the sport. Mm-hmm. Its ability to bring people in. And first of all, I like the name, Empower Pickleball, because it seems like pickleball empowers a lot of people in a lot of different ways. Mm-hmm. Talk about some of these community stories.
Absolutely. One of the community stories that stands out is a gentleman by the name of Ben. He's a deaf pickleball player, and
which means he doesn't hear that.
He cannot hear anything. So he plays, he coaches, he's just an amazing individual. He was very open about the fact that he did not want to continue to live. And he got a text message that says, will you come out and play a game with me? So he went. And the next night, he got another text and another text. And he really attributes the game on saving his life. So that's one of the serious stories we've written. One of the fun kind of stories that we've written is, we've covered a lot of different people in the game, but I've met people I would have never met before. And we kind of highlight that in community spotlights. Like we do a lot of women community spotlights, because they're kind of overlooked in the sport. Coaches, directors in facilities, people that might have gone through a divorce and it helped them with their depression. We've written stories about recovery from addiction. And also one of the most recent stories
how do these stories get to you? How do you become aware?
Sometimes they submit them, but I would say 95% of the time I have a team member. My team is awesome. Like, it's definitely a team company. It's not just me. And they do outreach. Okay. So we search and seek them out.
How does pickleball do all that? Is it the camaraderie? Is it the ability to become good at something very quickly? How is pickleball helping these people through depression and suicidal thoughts and physical handicaps and all those things?
Honestly, I think it forces them to put the phone down. And when you're playing pickleball, you have to talk. So you have to communicate. You get to know people. It's very welcoming. It doesn't matter what state or city I've been to. When I go to the local courts, it's always welcoming. And I think that's why. Because the next thing you know, most people who play pickleball, their phones are like first name, and then their last name says pickleball. It's first name, last name, pickleball. First name, last name, pickleball.
Well, it does sound like a very easy sport to get into. It's like you said, it's not. Golf takes 5 hours, very expensive equipment. There aren't that many golf courses.
Yep.
There seems to be pickleball around every corner now. What does a paddle cost?
A decent paddle to start with is like $50 to $150.
So it's not an expensive sport to get into, and it's lots of people playing it. You can probably just show up at the courts and play with.
And the debate with golf that I love, and I'm going to wave my women flag for a minute, is it's hard. I'm originally from New Hampshire, and it's a shorter golf season. So when I was an insurance executive, I can only go up the ladder so far unless I knew how to play golf and network, right? So pickleball now is replacing some of that networking, and that's extremely helpful.
You were just anticipating my next question. I know a lot of golfers who are now kind of splitting their time between golf and pickleball is actually getting more of their time.
And what's interesting about that is the wives sometimes will play pickleball while they're playing golf, and now the wives are starting to learn how to play golf. So there's a huge crossover both ways there, which is kind of nice to see.
But a lot of people in business into golf or stay in golf because of the social aspect of it. Because you can talk business on a golf course, you make connections. Some people have really enhanced their careers by learning how to play golf and playing it. Now, is pickleball having that same impact? Maybe not.
Absolutely.
It is. Okay.
I met this woman who is very accomplished. She sold her company. I would have never met her if it wasn't for pickleball. And she brought up a really good point. She invests in other companies. So what she does is sometimes they'll play pickleball together, and you can tell real quick about someone's personality, about how they're reacting to like a bad shot, or how they're reacting if they're losing or winning. And, you might not want to go into business with them.
So if we were to put pickleball on that curve, it looks like it's kind of gone all like this.
Yep.
Where are we at? Have we hit the plateau yet, or are we still going up?
So the plateau is not there yet because the age itself is dropping. We're not fully in colleges yet. We're not in high schools yet. And we're not in elementary school yet, right? So in other countries, you can go on social media and you'll see that they're 100% focused on the 11-year-olds right now, because those are the ones that are going to make it to the Olympics. And we're not there. And there are moving parts and pieces behind the scenes that are going to get there. But you're talking millions of other people that are going to get involved in this sport. We're going to be partnering with a recreational company and getting into the recreational departments and starting pickleball. And I think that's going to be huge.
Okay. How many people play this sport now?
Well, there's numbers out there, and no one really knows the real number because some of it's based on sales and some of it they're playing in their backyard. You'll never know. But, the estimated, you're easily over, 36 million, 45 million.
That many?
Yeah. I've heard different reports from different people. We've passed sports already. You figure how big badminton is in other countries, like we've already surpassed that.
And where are we at the business side? Are we just starting to see pickleball as a business, or is that business mature?
No, it's like hundreds of millions of dollars still going into pickleball. One of the leading tours right now just raised $240 million. So yeah, hundreds of millions of dollars. There's no real there's some small pickleball stadiums here and there, but there are teams, right? And home teams and there's infrastructure that still needs to be built. I mean, I twisted my ankle the other day doing some yard work. I had to go to the local hospital and they'll ask me your job, and they still don't know what pickleball is, right? So eventually everyone will know that word a little bit more. And especially where I live, like where we live, we're a little bit behind compared to other states, and that's okay. But yeah, we are behind on
Is
infrastructure.
it mostly still an outdoor sport, indoor sport?
There is a lot of debate about that. Some people love to play outdoors and hate indoors. Some people love indoors and hate outdoors. I like outdoors. I like the challenge of like wind and different things. I play indoors when it's cold, winter, snow.
Well, the sport has gotten a little bit of bad press. Some pickleball facilities, the noise bothers the neighbors, and they want to shut the pickleball court down.
Yep.
And we hear a lot about injuries.
I think the press on the injuries is kind of skewed because we cover injuries as well. But here's the thing. I'm older. In high school, I used to run track. I was very athletic.
Older than what?
Oh, just older.
Older than who?
Just older.
Oh, come on.
I'm 50. So when you get on the court, you forget how old you are. You forget that you haven't done that in a while. And then you pull something. So that's what's really going on, because it does make you feel like you're a kid again and you forget. There's a lot of companies in the business side of pickleball that are dealing with the noise. That's a whole other demographic of businesses that are dealing with the noise right now. There is a very cool ball coming out that feels like a pickleball, looks like a pickleball, and it makes a lot less noise.
Okay.
So I think that's helpful. I mean, there's some paddles and stuff out there that help, but I mean, don't build a court right next to a house.
So what is in the business plan for Empower Pickleball?
Empower Pickleball is expanding. We're getting a lot into travel. We're doing tips and tricks. We're working with coaches, education. We just expanded and started our first podcast. We're going to be leaning and partnering with educational places so we can kind of help on the educational side with players and coaches worldwide. And that's exciting. And we just have a lot of partnerships and announcements coming up. Some I can talk about, some I can't. That this fall is going to be crazy. I'm going to be on an airplane a lot this fall.
Good for you.
All right.
We'll have to do this again in a year or maybe even less, and talk about the growth of the sport and the growth of Empower Pickleball.
Yeah, we'll see where we're at. That would be exciting. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming up. All right. And thank you to all of you for tuning into Business Talk. This is a podcast presented by Business West and sponsored by Greenfield Cooperative Bank. I'm George O'Brien, filling in for Joe Bednar. We'll see you next time.